Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 7 of the 2016 NFL season. Well, anyway, people, first game I'm going to get at is I'm going to take Green Bay at home over the Chicago Bears. Don't be flabbergasted or in a state of shock, of course. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers, I understand he's been struggling a little bit. There's been a lot of talk I've heard on ESPN. Is he going through some personal issues? Is it just the mechanical thing and this and that? Is he just generally just struggling? What is going on? Well, whatever it is, well, there is one cure for this perhaps, and that is namely the Chicago Bears. Green Bay has dominated this series in recent time. They've taken 10 of the last 12 from Chicago. Chicago is only averaging 16.8 points per game. They're one of the worst scoring offenses in the NFL. If Brian Hoyer is playing as quarterback, he should have a halfway decent game, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Packers. Packers are at home. It is a Thursday night game, and I do like the Packers to rebound and win this game. So I like Green Bay to win. Now the next game, well, I'm going to take the New York Giants on the road against the LA Rams. Now this is actually, I see this as a neutral site. It's going to be based in London, this game. Quarterback Eli Manning and wide receiver Odell Beckham played very exceptionally well last week. Odell Beckham, of course, many of you may know, he made like a 60-plus yard reception at the latter part of the game that won, and it was a touchdown reception that won the game for the Giants. And maybe whatever emotional turmoil or whatever he's going through, maybe that's starting to improve a little bit and it's starting to dissipate. I hope it is. And at least whatever it is, hopefully it's not impacting him on the field as much now. Now, the Giants only have 2 defensive interceptions. That does concern me a little bit. But Eli Manning has surreptitiously climbed to number 2 in passing yards in the NFL. I was very impressed with that. And I mean, I was surprised. I didn't know he was ranked that high. Now, the Rams now, I mean, they're averaging only 18.3 points per game. Running back Todd Gurley has been a disappointment. And I don't think he's had a 100-yard game this season. Maybe he gets it in this one. But I do. The Rams have allowed 61 points in the last 2 games, both losses. I think that game last week is going to rejuvenate the Giants, and maybe that will turn their season around. And I like the Giants to keep it going and win this one. So next game, I like the Kansas City Chiefs at home to defeat the New Orleans Saints. Now, I mean, it's going to be a good battle because you have Kansas City with their playmakers. Defensive back Marcus Peters, who leads the NFL in interceptions, his status is questionable, but if you figure if he does play, this will be a good battle between him, the playmakers on Kansas City's defense, and then you have the vaunted offense of the New Orleans Saints. The Kansas City Chiefs have won as far as they're 14-4 in their last 18 regular season home games. They have 9 defensive interceptions. I believe that leads the NFL. New Orleans is number 32 in scoring defense, so they are going to give up some points. However, their offense is solid. Of course, spearheaded by quarterback Drew Brees. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks is having a sensational season. And their offense will keep this game close and competitive, I believe. But I do like the Kansas City Chiefs to win this at home. Now, the next game. Well, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts on the road to defeat the Tennessee Titans. Now, quarterback Andrew Luck, I believe he will have some luck in this game. But the Colts really have had the Titans' number over the years, 14-1 in the last 15 against Tennessee. They have won 9 consecutive against the Titans. And really, when I look at this, I mean, Tennessee should make this game close. They have running back DeMarco Murray, 3rd in rushing yards right now, or at least close. I don't know if he's 3rd in rushing yards, but I know he's among the league leaders in rushing yards in the NFL. I mean, the Titans have lost 9 straight to the Colts, and really, this is a vastly improved Titans team, and this is going to be a very good test for them. They're 3-3 right now. They win this game, they'll be 4-3, and I mean, you just never know. They could be talking playoffs. I mean, I know it'd be early still, but you figure if Tennessee wins, I believe if Houston loses to Denver, I think it's going to be a two-way tie for first place with Tennessee and Houston in the AFC South. So who really knows? This AFC South might little bit. You might see this teams really their caliber diminishing a little bit, and maybe it can open up some room for the Titans to maybe make the playoffs. Who knows? But I'd still like Indy to win this one. They've had the Titans number over the years. But I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee pulls this one out. But I am going to take Indianapolis to win this one on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings on the road to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles. Minnesota right now is number 1 in scoring defense, 16-5 in their last 21 regular season games. In their last 21 regular season games, they are 18-3. Against the spread. Now, as you know, my predictions aren't based on the spread. They're based on outright win or lose. But I think that's very telling, and it shows that they are playing exceptionally well from last season and until now. And really, I mean, they have 19 defensive sacks. It's one of the best in the NFL. Philadelphia is starting to plummet to earth a little bit, I believe. They've dropped 2 straight. And, I mean, the one thing about, I mean, Philadelphia still might be a better team than they were last year. They are going to be at home. Interestingly, they have one of the best kick return averages in the league. And the Vikings, I believe, have good special teams as well as far as their kick and punt returners. So it could be decided this game, the field position may play a more integral role in this game than it usually does. But Minnesota, they're undefeated right now. I mean, I'm staying with them right now, and I think they continue the streak. I think they're going to win, and they'll be 7-0 after this game. So, or am I wrong? I'm sorry, I mean 6-0. They had the bye week last week. I believe Minnesota will be 6-0 after this game. And I do like the Vikings to win this one on the road. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals at home to defeat the Cleveland Browns. I mean, Cincinnati Bengals have really underachieved this season. They're 2-4 right now. Quarterback Andy Dalton. Now, as far as yards thrown, he may be doing very well, but really he only has 6 touchdown passes right now, and that's really, I mean, in playing 6 games, 6 touchdown passes, that's definitely subpar. Wide receiver A.J. Green, I expect him to have an exceptional game in this one since he is at home. Cleveland is 0-6, and Cleveland is one of the worst scoring defenses in the NFL. They've allowed 29.3 points per game. They're also, what's interesting about the Cleveland Browns is that counting preseason, they have lost 13 consecutive games. Counting this regular season, preseason, and dating back to the end of last season. 13 consecutive games they've lost. They're also, their record in that time, the last, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they're 1-20 in the last 21 games, counting the preseason this season and dating back to the latter part of last season. I mean, that is just completely abysmal. I mean, that's really, it's like in their one game, I believe they won was like 24-10 over the 49ers last season in that span. So really, what I'm saying is they've allowed 2 passing touchdowns, I think, in like 9 straight games. They said on an ESPN blog, I believe. But that to me, I mean, that's obviously unacceptable. The Cleveland Browns really are, I mean, unequivocally the worst team in the NFL, and I believe they will lose this game, and they'll drop to 0-7. I like Cincy in this one. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Washington Redskins to win on the road against the Detroit Lions. The Redskins are starting to find their rhythm and groove. Quarterback Kirk Cousins is playing very well. They've won 4 consecutive games. Detroit's won 2 straight, but the 2 games were by combined 4 points. They could have gone either way. With Matt Stafford and wide receiver Marvin Jones, you always got a shot. I expect this game to be close, but I like Washington to pull this out in a close one. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Oakland Raiders to win on the road against Jacksonville. Now, Oakland, right now, I mean, they have wide receiver Michael Crabtree and then Amari Cooper. And Oakland, surprisingly, is 3-0 on the road this season. And to me, this is a team right now, I mean, Oakland did lose last week. I understand that. They underperformed last week. I thought that was a winnable game against the Chiefs. I really didn't think they had any business losing that game. I believe that was at home against the Chiefs, but Chiefs played with a lot of desperation. Unfortunately, Oakland played like they had another game to play. But Jacksonville, right now, I mean, they're number 31 in total offense. I think Allen Robinson, the wide receiver, really needs to have a great game in this one, I believe, to win. I don't think Oakland is going to lose because I think they're going to bounce back from that defeat last week. Jacksonville being 1-2 at home. The one good thing for Jacksonville, though, is they're number 8 in passing yards per game allowed. And Oakland can air it out. So this should be an interesting battle between the receivers of Oakland and then the cornerbacks for Jacksonville in the pass defense. But I do like Oakland to win this game on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win on the road against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, there's really not enough superlatives to say about Buffalo right now. They are number 1 in rushing yards per game. I mean, they're number 1, and they're only giving up 17.2 points per game. They're also, with Buffalo, they have 20 defensive sacks. I mean, the defense has really been somewhat unheralded. I mean, they scored 45 points last week against the 49ers. I mean, a lot of people are talking about their running attack and that the offense has been playing great. They put up a lot of points in over this 4-game winning streak, but the defense is what's really helping them as well. And to me, that's going to be key if they're going to make a playoff run this season. Now, Miami is number 31 in run defense. Ryan Tannehill played well last week. They had the upset against the Steelers, but of course, Pittsburgh quarterback Ben Roethlisberger was not 100%. Miami ran for 222 yards last week. That'll be very hard for them to duplicate that this week against the Bills. The Bills are riding high right now. They are on an unbelievable roll, and I think they continue it against Miami, and I like the Bills to win on the road. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to defeat the New York Jets. Baltimore is on the road. They've lost 3 consecutive games. However, they do have a very good run defense. The run defense, they're only giving up 69.7 yards per game, and they have 8 defensive interceptions, which could be trouble for the Jets because the Jets, of course, have a terrible propensity to throw interceptions. And the Jets right now, number 32 scoring offense in the league. They have lost 4 consecutive games. They only scored 3 points. Last week, they've scored 36 total points in their last 4 games. There's been talk and speculation regarding quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, whether he's going to start or not, but having Geno Smith is the only other option. My feeling is they're going to likely stick with Fitzpatrick, and they're just going to tough this season out, the remainder of it. And the Jets are allowing 290 passing yards per game, which is 28th in the league. I would expect Joe Flacco and the receivers to have a very good game in this one. They're going to be without Eric Decker, of course, receiver who is out for the season. The only thing in the Jets' favor is that, they're at home, and they may play with some urgency and some desperation, considering being 1-5. One more loss can really everything but knock you out of the playoff hunt. 10-6 didn't get them in last season. It may not get them in this season. The way New England and Buffalo are playing, I mean, they really can't afford to lose any more games, so I expect some desperation and them to play with urgency. But I think Baltimore, just being the better team, hands down, and the way the Jets have been playing, it's just hard for me to see a scenario where the Jets can come up and pull this one out. But I like Baltimore to win on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the 49ers at home to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I call this the toilet bowl game. The 49ers are giving up nearly 31 points per game, but really the main reason I'm picking San Francisco is because I expect to see a little progression of quarterback Colin Kaepernick. He played his first game back last week after being out for some time, and he didn't look bad. I mean, the 49ers just scored 16 points. However, 49ers offense is really, by scoring, is a little bit better than Tampa Bay. San Francisco is averaging about 21 points per game, and Tampa Bay is averaging about 19. Tampa Bay is on the road. I don't know if we could trust Jameis Winston as far as the interception thing goes. And the status of Doug Martin and Charles Sims, the running backs, are uncertain, and status is questionable. So I think you put all that in a blender. It points to a close 49er victory, and I do like the 49ers to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons to win at home over the San Diego Chargers. Atlanta, I mean, they are number one total in scoring offense right now. I mean, I know they lost last week. It was a tough loss to the Seattle Seahawks, but that was at Seattle. This game is going to be at Atlanta. Atlanta's number 2 in passing offense as well. San Diego, the thing about them is, I mean, they're the kind of team that will lose like 38-37. I mean, they have a very strong offense, but the defense not so much. San Diego is averaging nearly 29 points per game right now, but they're allowing 25.8 points per game. So, I mean, the right way I see it is that Atlanta, they are at home. San Diego really has trouble stopping teams. San Diego, when you have Phillip Rivers on your team as quarterback, you always have a chance. San Diego's going to get their points, I believe, in this game. But Atlanta's offense is just a little bit better. Their scoring offense is a little bit better than San Diego, and wide receiver Julio Jones for Atlanta is phenomenal. I think it's going to be it's going to be tough for San Diego to find an answer for him. So I like the Atlanta Falcons to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the New England Patriots to win on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, New England, though on the road, I mean, they are number 2 in scoring defense right now. I thought that was amazing because, I mean, you're hearing about, okay, Tom Brady, the last 2 games, I mean, 2 games back from the suspension, he's thrown for nearly 800 yards passing. He had, I think he had like 3 touchdown passes last week. New England actually is a solid road team. They're 14-4 in their last 18 on the road. And of course, many of you may know Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger is likely out in this game, and that will figure prominently in this outcome. They had some stat on ESPN, something like that Pittsburgh's been like 8-8 in 16 games that Roethlisberger has missed because of injury. I mean, so they're like a mediocre team without Roethlisberger. Now, Pittsburgh is at home. They still have Antonio Brown as a receiver. They still have a number of weapons. They may make it competitive, but I think with Roethlisberger out, this is really going to make a huge difference. Pittsburgh also, I mean, their run defense was a little bit exploited last week. I believe they had allowed 222 rushing yards. And even though I doubt they'll give up that many this coming week, but still, there may be a little weakness there, I'm thinking, and the Patriots could very well capitalize on it. I like the Patriots to win on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take Seattle on the road to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle right now is number 1 in total defense, number 3 in scoring defense. I mean, when you have Richard Sherman on defense, I mean, you have one of the best defenders in the league. I mean, Seattle right now at 4-1, they're playing very well. Last week they got a very solid win against a really high-flying Atlanta Falcons team. Arizona, they trounced the Jets last week 28-3, but this will be a little bit different playing against Seattle. Arizona has 9 defensive interceptions, so they do have playmakers on this team. Their defense may not be as good overall, Seattle, but they do have the people that can make some plays on this team on defense. And this is a divisional game, and Arizona being at home, this should be a tight one. Sunday night game. David Johnson, the running back, he's played very well this season. Has 568 rushing yards, which is good for 3rd in the NFL. But I do like Seattle to win this one. I just think with the defenders, the defense will play a little bit better overall than the Cardinals offense. I think that's going to be the difference maker in this one. And I do like Seattle to prevail on the road. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to win at home over the Houston Texans. Now, Denver, right now they are one of the better pass defenses in the league. They're giving up just about 182 yards in the air per game. They have 21 defensive sacks. They have Von Miller, of course. And with Houston, of course, still no J.J. Watt. He is out for the season. Houston is only averaging 18 points per game. Whatever success they have has been predicated on their defense. They've won all their home games this season, but this one on the road. What's interesting is that Houston has the number 2 pass defense in terms of passing yards per game allowed. So you may not see a lot of, as far as passing yards in this game, moving the ball with passing, it's going to be, and maybe a lot more running during this game, which gets the yardage. But through the air, it might be a little bit more difficult because you have 2 very good pass defenses playing against each other. However, Broncos are at home in this one, and coming off a loss, this is a game that they really need right now to stay in the division title hunt, and this will be a Monday night game, and I do like Denver to win this one. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for my 2016 Week 7 NFL predictions. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.